Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron. Well, there you go. Over the last hour, 2 hours or so, it seems pretty much all but completed, doesn't it? It hasn't been confirmed by Everton, but it looks like Carlo Ancelotti will be rejoining Real Madrid. David Ornstein, who is a very reliable source, of course, coming from The Athletic, has said that the deal is a done deal. There's various, sort of journalists and publications in Spain saying that Carlo Ancelotti is currently terminating his contract with Everton. He will be announced as Real Madrid's new manager in the next few hours. TalkSport have said that Everton is set to try for Nuno Espirito Santo as their next manager. You've had another Spanish journalist called Josep Pedrol, who has said that Carlo Ancelotti will sign a 3-year contract at Real Madrid today that will link him to the club until 2024. According to La SER, the announcement is imminent and Everton are in advanced talks with Eddie Howe to replace the former Everton manager, and then various other talks are saying that he will be announced today. The Athletic also posted an article before to say that Everton will meet at 3 p.m. to discuss the current situation. So again, we'll see what comes out of that meeting. But from what was last night a silly rumour that I think we all sort of chuckled at and thought, yeah, that's never happening, to, literally 12, 16 hours later, a very real situation. And it looks now, like I said, all but confirmed by either club that Carlo Ancelotti will rejoin Real Madrid. And listen, it's very, very disappointing. I, 2 hours ago, 3 hours ago, sat on a live stream and was very confident that Carlo Ancelotti wouldn't leave, and was very confident that Carlo Ancelotti would still be the Everton manager going into next season. And now I sit here, a couple of hours later, and it doesn't even look like there's a choice now. Carlo's made his decision. He's decided he wants to rejoin Real, and obviously, Florentino Perez has got what he wanted, and Everton ultimately left in a situation now where, not only are we in a position where we need to go out and massively strengthen the squad, as we all knew anyway, but we now need to go out and bring in a new manager. I suppose if you can find any positive out the situation, it's that it's happened early on in the transfer window and not happened 2 weeks before the start of the season. That would be an absolute disaster. But look, it's not a positive, is it? It's not a good thing. Let's be honest. Everton now are in the hunt for a new manager, and ultimately are right back at the start of another project. And I said that a couple of weeks ago on one of the streams that, I'm really, really sick of this same situation where we get 12, 18 months into a manager's reign and then, they either get sacked, or in this situation, which obviously is very different to any of the previous ones, Carlo Ancelotti walks and then, we bring in somebody else and we get the same spiel from the club as that, oh, we're back at square one, we're back at, the start, it's going to be a 4-year process, don't expect things to change overnight. And typically 12 months in, the manager gets sacked, or like I said, in this situation, Carlo's walked. So I just really couldn't be bothered going back to square one and starting again. And that's why I think Carlo Ancelotti, got the backing of the board and the backing of the majority of Evertonians, is because we knew that it wasn't going to be an overnight change. We knew that it was going to take time. We knew that Carlo was going to have to get his right players in and the right team, and that was going to take 2, 3, maybe even 4 transfer windows to do that. But obviously, he doesn't want to wait around for that. He seized an opportunity. Maybe he's looked at Real Madrid and gone, do you know what? It's my last big opportunity to go and manage at a club like that. My last big opportunity to go and, win silverware and have that type of job and manage that type of club. Let's be honest, Real Madrid are, arguably the biggest club in world football in terms of on the pitch and off the pitch as well, as a commercial sort of side of things. And as a business, Real Madrid are absolutely gigantic. And Carlo said something a couple of weeks ago, and we probably should have taken a little bit more note of it, to be honest with you. He said, I can't remember who he was talking about, I think he was talking about Jose Mourinho being sacked as Tottenham manager, and he talked about pressure, and he said that he was asked about pressure and whether it's a good or bad thing for managers, and he said pressure's a great thing for managers. They thrive off pressure, they want to impress, they want to improve, they want to do better, they want to hit targets. And I just question whether there was enough pressure on Carlo Ancelotti at Everton. I think he was in a very comfortable situation from the board. I think, the board were more than happy with him and the current situation at the football club, and happy for him to continue next season. And maybe that's something that has stuck in the throat of Carlo a little bit, as he's thought, no, I want to be at a club where I know that if I don't achieve top 4 or top 5 or top 6, then, there's serious question marks around my head, because he thrives off that level of pressure and that responsibility, whereas at Everton he hasn't really got that, has he? Let's be honest. Like I said, he's he's pretty much been allowed to do what he wants to do and finish where he wants to finish. And from an Everton side, maybe that's right, because we're not a club in a position to really, throw demands about for a manager like Carlo Ancelotti. But ultimately it's come back and bit us on the bottom a little bit, hasn't it? And we look set to walk out, all but confirmed now that he'll join Real Madrid. I think it's a done deal, and there's some of the names that are getting thrown about to potentially come in and replace him are very, very disheartening, let's put it that way. You've got Eddie Howe being lashed about left, right and centre, Nuno Espirito Santo, David Moyes' name's being thrown in the equation as well, and I think the reality of the situation is, certainly for me anyway, I can't speak on behalf of every Evertonian, but I really don't know who I want to come in and replace Carlo Ancelotti, to be honest. I didn't think I could feel anywhere near as bad as I did last week when Manchester City turned up and absolutely walked all over us. But now, 7 days later, 8 days later, I feel even worse because our manager's turned around and gone, "No, I'm not staying here, lads. It's no good for me. I'm getting off." And look, ultimately, we don't know why that is. Carlo mightn't have even considered Everton. He might have looked at Real Madrid and gone, I don't care about what's going on at Everton. I don't care about the plan. This is my big chance and I want to rejoin Real Madrid. Or he might have got into a meeting with Everton and gone, this isn't right for me. The transfer targets aren't who I want to bring in. The club isn't going in the direction I want it to go in. There's not enough pressure, so I'm gonna go over, get the chance to. We don't know, but ultimately it's left us in a situation where not only do we now need to heavily strengthen the squad, but we now need to heavily strengthen, obviously we need to bring in a new manager as well. And, from a club with aspirations of pushing for a top 6, top 7 finish next season with the reinforcements at right back and right mid and centre mid, we're now a club that, who knows where we'll finish and who knows what type of manager we'll bring in. I suppose that's just a situation where we're going to have to wait and see. But according to pretty much everybody, last night when it was leaked and this morning when we talked about it on the live stream, it was very much Spanish publications and a lot of Spanish media that were pushing this, and we all sort of held on to the fact that, no English media, Fabrizio Romano hasn't said anything at this point, David Ornstein hasn't said anything at this point, and we all sort of, thought maybe it's just a smokescreen from the Spanish media as to whoever Real Madrid want to bring in, on the side. But, Alan Myers with the latest says negotiations for Ancelotti to join Real Madrid at an advanced stage, with one well-placed source telling Sky Sports News that the deal is 99% done. Like I said, The Athletic, David Ornstein coming out and saying that it's a done deal. Everton will meet at 3 o'clock today to discuss this. It's just very disheartening, isn't it? And you do sort of ask yourself, where do we go from here? Where do we as a football club go from here? Where do, Brands and Macheri and Kenwright go in terms of picking a new manager? Who comes in? Do we bring in somebody to stabilise the club for a year and then look at, long-term options? Or do we try and bring in somebody, an Eddie Howe, for example? It'd be a massive risk, wouldn't it? Because he's another manager who hasn't proved himself at the highest level. But I suppose this is what we were always going to get with Carlo Ancelotti, is if we didn't finish in a position that he would have expected, or maybe is used to finishing. He's not finished lower than 6th in his managerial career, other than last season, when he's had a full season. That's what you get, don't you? You get the risk that if somebody else comes sniffing for him, that he might be poised to leave. And ultimately, my feeling is disappointment, sadness, because, and I'm sad in myself really, because I should have known that managers and footballers come out and say things left, right and centre and it doesn't really mean anything. Carlo come out 2 weeks ago and said he's happy here and he doesn't want to leave and he's flattered by the rumours, but he wants to stay here and he wants to continue with the project. He come out in February and said he hopes to be here for longer than his contract. He hopes to be here when we move into the new stadium, and just shows that footballers and managers and people in football, it's just a mercenaries game, isn't it? And you can say what you like to appease fans and to create that bond and create that connection, but if somebody else comes calling with a better offer and with more money, or with a better group of players, then you're likely, or managers and players are likely to just walk and not really care about what they've said previously. And that's ultimately the disappointment, is that I said to myself with previous managers and previous players, I won't get emotionally connected anymore, and I got emotionally connected to Carlo Ancelotti, and now it seems like that ride is over. So yeah, it seems all but done. Like I said, The Athletic, who are a very, very reliable source, coming out and saying it's a done deal. All as we're waiting on now is confirmation from both clubs regarding that, and we'll have the latest on the channel when that does break. But as far as is now, looks like Carlo will be joining Real Madrid on a 3-year deal until 2024, and Everton will be in the hunt for a new manager ahead of next season. So, like I said, we'll have videos and content out over the next couple of weeks or so, streams talking about potential replacements and where Everton go from here. But yeah, what else can we do? If you've enjoyed this one, please do leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new as well. Like I said, subscribe to stay in touch with all of the latest news. We'll have it as it breaks as well. Leave your thoughts in the comment section if you could as well. And yeah, we'll see you soon on the Mighty Blues.